horrible.
Okay, cool. All right, let me get the formal intro out of the way, and then we'll go from there. Okay. All right. Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. We're about to embark on an exclusive conversation with Magdalena Bay. Their new record, The Mercurial World, or just Mercurial World, is out now. I've been listening to it. You've been listening to it. Review out very soon if you haven't caught it already on the main channel. We're going to be talking about that and everything else that comes up in the conversation just right off the bat. The new album's been out for a few days. What do you guys think of the reception so far for it?
Honestly, blown away. I
mean, we're like, people are listening to it.
And people are like talking about it, you know, whether it's positive or negative, just the fact that there's like, you know, active conversations about our music is like kind of mind blowing. I don't know. It's been very cool.
Yeah. You know, sorry for not introducing you guys, but obviously we have Mika and Matt with us. And while this is your debut record as Magdalena Bay, you guys have been making music for a while, and not just, you know, as this duo and the EPs that people sort of know you for, and, you know, sort of the viral tracks that you've been putting out for years at this point. But at one time, you guys were in like a 5-piece prog outfit. And I mean, you know, tell me a little bit about what kind of progressed from there to bring you into, I guess, more of a pop duo format.
Yeah, that was like our first songwriting experience, pretty much like writing that progressive rock music with like changing time signatures and 20-minute songs and all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, we were super into it. And I think just when we got to college and that band broke up because we were all in different cities, etc., I don't know, we just kind of looked at each other and we're like, what if we tried making pop? Like,
which was like the most ridiculous thing, because like I never listened to pop music. I kind of shunned it because I was like a total prog nerd, and I only listened to like King Crimson and like Yes and stuff like that. So for us, it was, I think, half of like a joke and like half of a challenge, and just like maybe getting a little bored and wanting to try something new.
Yeah, wanting maybe more people to like, wanting our music to be a little bit more accessible.
We have like a very active fan base of like middle-aged men in Europe. Like really the only people
like
who are actually
Scandinavia specifically.
That's a hot demo. That's a very in-demand demo, though.
Yeah.
We're trying to get them on board with Magdalena Bay.
I think so. Actually, I think we've crossed over some of them. Like, believe it or not, I see on like Facebook, you know, obviously nowhere else but Facebook, that some people still comment on like their Facebook posts who like we recognize from high school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I guess the other aspect was being long distance. You can't really be in a rock band, you know, when you're all in different states. So doing something more electronic focused, we were able to do that while we were in college in different cities.
Yeah.
No, I think there's something kind of interesting about the recency of like this change and this switch in a way, because not only do I think in a way you kind of carry over some of the obsession over details that I think is sort of required with making prog music into sort of more of a pop sound. But on top of that, it seems like you guys are still at a place where you're kind of evolving like aesthetically, and you're still kind of like finding out like, you know, exactly what kind of clicks pop wise for you. And you're exploring like so many different things in a way that I think somebody would, if something just felt really new and exciting to them, the record just kind of seems unafraid to try just about a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I think like our mentality has just been to like, you know, throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And, you know, I'm still like, I only started producing pop music in like 2016. So I'm still learning, you know, every song we make is definitely a learning experience.
I feel like it's like a lifelong thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I do think with this album, like we had put in the years at that point to like, I don't know, maybe feel more comfortable with like experimenting and
now we feel a little more comfortable with pop production. We could
get
mess around,
weirder,
right?
A little weirder.
Weirder, and I think it's fair to say with like the phase that you guys are in now and with this new record, things are getting a little bit more, I don't know, maybe with the prog stuff it's kind of coming full circle, because I feel like right now it's getting a little bit more conceptual, because they're you know, just to think of the idea of like a mercurial world just on you know, its face, is there something about this record thematically where you're trying to make a commentary on, I guess, just like the volatility, or I guess like the flux or fluidity of the world we exist in, like be it planet Earth, or is it just kind of a societal observation?
Yeah, definitely a bit of both. But yeah, speaking to like the more conceptual thing, this is like our first time kind of sitting down and being like, we're gonna write an album. You know, in the past we've always been very single focused, and our EP last year was more just like a collection of singles. And yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to concept albums. Like I think The Wall was like the first album I ever listened to front and back. And obviously with the prog stuff, it's like a major part of it. So I think when we decided we're going to write an album, it was very natural for us to think like there's got to be some sort of unifying.
Yeah, it's really like cool for us creatively to kind of think of a body of work like holistically and not just single. So we're like pumped about that. And then the album is kind of I guess there's like a bunch of some themes going on, but in large part it's about like that volatile world in flux and our sort of like relationship to each other and the world around us in the midst of all that.
But then on top of that, I think like sonically and aesthetically, there's an aspect, and I think of course like with the costumes and also just like the promotional rollout and art of the record too. There's also like elements of futurism, I think, pocketed in just about everything that you guys do, and you know, creatively. Do you guys see yourselves as futurists? And with this record, are you trying to like, you know, make some sort of statement or commentary on like, you know, what is the shape of pop to come or something else?
I'd call ourselves retro futurists. If I had to put a word on it.
There is something like old school, but something kind of new about it as well.
For sure. Yeah. It's hard because like, I don't know, like the first thing that comes to mind, and I think a lot of people's mind when they think of like futuristic pop is, I guess, like the more hyper pop or like more aggressive hitting stuff. But I think we love that, but it's not necessarily the type of music like we want to make because we have so much like reverence for pop 70s, of the past. 70s like, through 2000. So it's like trying to balance those influences for us, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Well, I hear definitely moments on the record where it seems like you guys are pulling from past iterations of maybe sort of like a retro futuristic, you know, theme and vibe, maybe off of like records from M83 or like the closing track on the album actually like instrumentally to me feels a lot like a song that Interstellar 5555 would write, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool.
There's almost like kind of you know, futuristic space, you know, animated Daft Punk band kind of quality to it. That's kind of interesting because not a lot of groups touch down on that right now.
We've amassed so many influences at this point that it's fun for us to try to like pick out little things and combine them.
From all the decades or whatever. Yeah.
And you know, also in a lot of the rollout and on your website as well, there's I think I guess like an element of I guess like cult vibes coming off of, you know, some of the promotional material as well. Is Magdalena Bay for you guys almost in a way like a pyramid scheme? Are you building like an audience of people who you're going to indoctrinate into some kind of like, you know, performative Kool-Aid drinking or something like that?
No plans yet, but who's to say what could happen? No, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we just went, who's to say at this point? We just went down like so many weird click holes when COVID started. And one of them was this like brand, a company and website called Clonaid, which like sells cloning services. And the site is still active. And then we found their like YouTube channel and they have these bizarre videos and just like the layers to these like weird online universes from like the early 2000s really spoke to us. And I think we kind of like, you know, like took some inspiration.
For sure. And then there's like Time Cube. Have you ever seen Time Cube? Okay. You should check it out. It's really cool. It's like this website, I don't know what year it was put up, but definitely like a while ago, but it's still there. But yeah, it's just kind of like, it's this like theory about how time is a cube, and it's really like incomprehensible, but the way it looks and like the feel of the site was very like
very
influential to the whole aesthetic there.
No, I mean, there's something really apt about it when I was, you know, seeing how you guys were kind of referencing it. I mean, it seemed like, you know, pulling from a much different place than a lot of what we're seeing right now out there. But I don't know if you guys have noticed online, but, you know, cults and conspiracies, they're having kind of a moment right now. You know, they're having like a little bit of a thing. And, you know, you guys are writing such compelling music, I think in your own way. Maybe you could grab some of that, you know, pick up some of that like QAnon vibe and turn them maybe into Magdalena Bay heads instead, like convert them and kind of fix them in a way.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I don't know. Being a cult leader seems like kind of a tough job.
It's like a lot of work.
A lot of responsibility. I don't know if I could handle
Yeah,
that.
you guys wouldn't be.
I don't know, but
At that point, you wouldn't be able to take breaks between album cycles.
Right.
Yeah, does the devotion not make it worth it? Or...
No. I mean, that's a personal question.
No, probably not.
And on top of it, and again, I'm just sort of like trying to explore like the layers of, I guess, concepts and aesthetics that you guys are pulling from. But would you say that there's also am I reading too much into it to say that there's almost like a sci-fi element to some of what you guys are doing too?
There definitely is. I mean, we're kind of like obsessed with sci-fi. It's our favorite like movie and book genre.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess you asked before if like the album is like a statement about the future, and it's probably more like a musing on like all these kind of like different influence that we have, even like aesthetically and movies and music, and I don't know, just kind of pulling from those more, I guess, like intangible sort of influences, not quite sonically only.
Yeah, and I guess the sci-fi thing maybe could play into like the time theory that exists in the album.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, I guess, a secondary concept. First you have like the mercurial world concept, and then in between that we have like our time theory, which is kind of like our personal way of dealing with the world we live in, and like I guess it's more of like a philosophy thing than a sci-fi thing.
Well, yeah, because we wrote the album right as we went into lockdown, and our first like 2 tours were canceled, and I feel like the existential dread hit really hard.
There were a lot of themes of, I guess, like time and beginnings and ends in some of the lyrics, and obviously like in the titles of the record, and it's obviously referenced in the progression of the record as well, with the ending coming first, right, and the beginning coming at the finish. And I did want to dig into that and ask, was it simply just like a concept of time, or was it also having something to do with like this idea of like end times and apocalypse as well?
Yeah, the end of times, like.
Well, I mean, in a way, it's just about like a way of like dealing with, mortality. And I guess that could apply to, everyone's mortality and on a grander scale. But I don't know if that was like the initial thought behind it, but it could definitely apply. It was more just like, I guess, more of an interpersonal, like.
Yeah, no, I think for me, like a lot of the lyrics are kind of like grappling with mortality, and like maybe like to get a little deeper, I guess, like not being like super religious, but like wanting to have something to believe, to like, put that like dread and fear to rest. So like, why don't we invent like some sort of theory that says like, hey, you know what, there is no end, like this sort of cycle can work, and it's sort of like a coping mechanism, I guess, to like lean into that idea and try to believe it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is there also, I guess, like an element of the storytelling and the themes on the record, outside of the apocalypse stuff and the time stuff, of, existing in your reality or understanding your reality as reality? Because there seems to be this idea of like, we're waking up from something, or we're waking up to something, or we're maybe in a way breaking out of the matrix. I don't know, like, in those moments where you're kind of alluding to that idea, in your own mind, what are you waking up from? Are you transitioning into a different plane of existence or something?
I love that interpretation.
I love it. I mean,
I just definitely open to interpretation in that way. I definitely don't want to give like an answer of like, this is how, this is what it is exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. It also could be like literally waking Matt up, being like, wake up, I just thought of this thing, like right. That sort of manic. And then it's like at the end, like, oh, go back to sleep. Like, don't worry about it. We got it all figured out. I think like sleep issues also come up on the album, just all sorts of like paranoia and like anxiety, like things we're dealing with. And they sort of got channeled in these like theory or like story ways, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean, there definitely does seem to be, excuse me, like an alternate dimension or plane thing going on. And especially during those moments, like in the intro or the second to last track, the way that you're kind of performing some of these spoken word passages, there's like a very kind of clean, almost like robotic guide quality to it. And, it is.
I love that.
As you're doing that, again, are you kind of like channeling back to this like sci-fi energy? Or are you kind of imagining yourself like I'm, a programmed computer and I'm communicating to the protagonist this, that, or the other thing?
That's so perfect.
I think we imagine like a TED Talk in like an alternate dimension or planet. That's kind of like explaining like the fabric of the universe.
But not to spoil our live show, but we incorporate this robot kind of like character that we communicate with and kind of like talk about these themes with, which is kind of like this disembodied head.
Yeah, it's like as we grapple with like our humanity on one level, the robot, I don't want to spoil too much, but also grapples with being a robot. So.
Right. Well, I mean, let's get into that a little bit, since you guys are like ramping up now with the tour. We're catching you just before, one of the performances on the tour. Again, I don't want you to spoil everything, but like, do give people an idea of what's happening at these performances, because, some bands and artists get on stage, the lights come up, they perform their songs, they leave, they do an encore, yada, yada, yada. But, from what I'm understanding from some fans talking about the experience and you guys talking about the experience, there's something much more narrative and conceptual going on.
Yeah, I think
we definitely we were definitely spent a lot of time thinking like, how do we not, just make this an average like concert with just going through the songs. And I think just tying in the album concepts, because there are like some concepts there that we could like work with into the live show is like a big thing for us.
And I think like part of the Magdalena Bay universe too is like our visuals, but not just simply like what goes on a projector, but kind of like the vibe or the story behind them, like what we do on TikTok or even in our music videos. So it's like, how can we kind of like bring that, whatever that is, that little touch of like surrealism or whatever we like to do to like our live performance.
Right. So. Yeah. The original idea was like that hybrid TED Talk thing, which it kind of evolved from there, where
with like huge inflatables, and we had to scale down a little bit, but we're still working on it.
Yeah, it's still in development.
Oh
Big God. Dreams.
It's funny you bringing that up. Like I was doing so much research into you guys and the music and so on and so forth. And it just dawned on me now, where I just like, in preparation for all of this, I didn't even think about the TikTok, even though that was one of like my first introductions to you guys. And I guess one of the reasons that that's the case is like, in its own funny way, like what you guys are doing on TikTok seems like it's existing in its own little weird separate universe, where it's like, it's very stone faced and it's very surreal and it's like very deadpan, but like in the music and obviously in the conversation, you're both very vibrant and funny and everything, and like that whole act like drops and all that. But like,
I know, I don't know if we should have personas or not. Like it's hard.
That feels like so much work, honestly, to maintain a persona.
It's too hard.
Don't overthink it. But like, exactly. Still though, like your TikTok content and the engagement that it does get, like, it is fun and it is unique for what it is, and it does add an interesting dynamic to the promotional element of what you do. And I feel like it was in a way almost born out of the fact that you guys had to get creative during a time when you're putting out tracks, you're putting out projects, and it's pandemic, there's lockdowns, you have to reach people some way. You know what I mean? So you kind of did it through, many different channels, and this being one of them. Like, how did it dawn on you guys to start doing like these weirdly surreal, like somewhat off-putting, but still like engaging and alluring like TikTok pieces where, for example, like I'm talking about your song and, you're staring into the camera like flat face, like, Anthony says he likes our memes, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think TikTok is kind of rough. Like, I don't know, we didn't really know what to do at first. And then we were like, okay, well, why don't we try to like make stuff that makes us like laugh? Like we need to have a good time with this, or we're just going to want to like.
At first there was like a lot of like pressure to be like, okay, what's going to go viral? Like, let's do like a mashup, cover and mashup. And like, that at the end of the day, it just felt like very hollow and like not what we wanted to be, known for. So we're like, I don't know, let's try something a little weirder and see what happens. And something that was just like made us happy to make, because like we'd make these cover mashups and they'd be fine, but it wasn't like creatively satisfying, right?
And I think, I don't know, it's been such a creative outlet for us kind of to like work on these, even if they're so dumb and they're like 30 seconds, it puts your brain to work a little bit, like in a narrative sense or something. So it's cool.
We're just having fun with it and doing what we think is kind of funny. So
So to quickly go back to, you know, the live show thing, just to kind of like finish that part of the conversation, like, you know, are fans in for a lot of visuals or props, or like is there a lot of theater and drama to all of it?
Yeah, it's more like student theater, but it is theater.
Some like low budget for the theater.
Exactly. So yeah, we're trying our best.
If done right, I think that can be pretty radical. Yeah. So, you know, don't sell yourself short. And hey, I mean, you know, some of the tickets on those shows are sold out. So, you know,
yeah,
I mean, someone wants to see you.
Someone wants to see you guys. I know you guys are performing with George Clanton too. You know, and he's you know, obviously, and I've had conversations with him about this, you know, hugely influenced by Vaporwave. And in a way, like, I mean, I feel like that's another maybe inspirational pull for you guys as well. I mean, while you don't directly make Vaporwave music, I almost see you guys in a way as like, you know, this new breed of artist, or a part of this new breed of artists that are not making the genre, but they're almost like conceptually like Vaporwave adjacent, you know? And
it's,
you know, I was kind
it's funny.
I was just wondering, like, in a similar way with George, like, do you guys feel almost like kindred spirits to some of the, you know, creativity and aesthetics of that style?
For sure.
100%.
Yeah,
we put out the song in 2017 called Neon. I've never heard of Vaporwave, and like, I had no idea what it was. And apparently, like, we put the song out and everyone was saying, oh, this is Vaporwave.
And
right? It was. We just didn't know it.
We didn't know.
So I think we like managed to pull upon those like same influences, I guess, like, you know, 80s pop and like synthy stuff.
And the nostalgia and like, I think like definitely, you know, visuals too are like a huge thing for Vaporwave. And like, you know, the 100% Electronica crew also kind of like does really cool world building that like goes beyond the music. And we love that type of stuff, and it definitely inspires us. For sure. Yeah. Just the fact they're able to create like a whole universe, you know, outside of the music, but like still very much integrally tied to the music was very inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of like talking about niche internet references, there's also like the you know, slowed and reverbed of Kill Shot and everything. Like there does seem to be an element of a lot of what you guys do that seems like the terminology that I use with some artists is that they seem very online. Like, do you guys feel very online? Like, you know, just to use like an example, like, you know, as much as I love, you know, and I love the music of Lizzo, for example, you know, Lizzo's great, but she's not very online. But Doja Cat is very, very online, like in terms of her humor, the references, this, that, and the other. Like, do you guys feel very on the internet, or, you know, do you find some way to kind of balance it, or does it only just appear that way?
Yeah, I feel like we've been branded as that, which is awesome. And I do think we're very online, but it's also very online like 20 years ago. Like we don't really know what crypto is. Like we should probably get on that. Like,
I don't know.
You guys should probably write a Dogecoin song or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Barely know how to use Discord. Like,
we're not like meme lords or anything. You know, we don't like,
look at memes.
We don't look at memes. I don't know. So yeah, I feel like we've definitely been like branded as like very online, but we just like, I guess our version of very online is like going on Internet Archive and like looking at old web pages. Or like GIFs, you know, GeoCity websites, and looking at pages from the early 2000s.
I get that, because I mean, your site does look like a GeoCities website. And
it is pretty much.
I would know in like 8th grade, I had a GeoCities website with my friends. Like it very much looks like a GeoCities vibe.
Right.
That's awesome.
I think that is a special kind of online. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it counts. And like, obviously we've had to learn how to like use all this stuff like Twitch and TikTok and Discord, but it's just to like keep up with our fans. Like, I think if we weren't doing like what we do, we wouldn't probably be
I've never watched the Twitch stream in my entire life. And like, we only do the Twitch because it's like a great way to connect with people, you know.
But we've never watched the stream, so we don't know like if what we're doing makes sense or not.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I actually find that kind of impressive that like, you know, you say that you're not like ingesting and consuming memes all the time, but you guys are still like pretty good at building up your own memes and developing your own memes and building up your own like Magdalena Bay centric meme lore.
That's great.
That's awesome to hear.
I love that.
I wanted to throw like some, you know, like really quick questions at you guys. So to start, just like off the top of your heads, like what in your mind, like name a really overhated artist, an artist that you feel like catches an inordinate amount of flack.
Oh my God.
No.
Keep in mind, you guys don't have to have the same answer. You know, you don't have to mind meld.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do kind of a sort of niche one, and it's a prog one. I hope that's okay. I don't know. Go
for it. Make it a prog one.
Yeah. But people seem to really hate Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Okay.
Like even in the prog communities, like people think of them as like just like too wanky and like not good songwriters, but I think they're overhated. I think they actually have really great albums. So
wow.
that's my obscure one.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you have any?
My mind is completely blank.
Yeah.
Like all I can think about, which maybe doesn't answer the question, is but I recently actually got into the Beatles, which I've never done before. Like just listen to all their albums. And okay, obviously the Beatles are not overhated.
But it has been trendy to hate them.
It does really bother me now when I see that they're overhyped, because they simply are not overhyped.
They live up to the hype.
They live up to it. I just listen to all their albums and they live up to it. So
that's good.
Honestly, I fully agree. I mean, on Twitter, I was just seeing the other day, someone was like, who said the Beatles were good songwriters? Like, look at this,
Everyone.
Look at this song come together. He has feet below his knees. Thanks, John, you dumbass. That's not a good lyric.
Right.
But, you know, like, when you look at that song, though, and you look at the context of that track, like, throughout that song, John does make like funny little contextual references to stuff that was happening to him at the time. He does say absurdist stuff. And I think you also have to take into context that like he originally kind of thought of that track or conceptualized that track as a like presidential, you know, I guess like campaign theme for Timothy Leary. And, you know, it was also like just nuts in and of itself. And, you know, the song isn't like about something in the same way that like, you know, a song like Help is, you know, but like all the non sequiturs that he's sort of singing on that track, that is the primary mode by which like most pop music and a lot of popular hip hop is written by today. You know, it's just like one sick sounding one liner and non sequitur after another that ultimately doesn't tell a story one after another, but it still like says something and it's still cool to listen to.
For sure. And there's inherent like artistic value to absurdity, you know, of like course. Something being surreal or like not making sense doesn't make it bad. Like there doesn't need to be meaning behind everything. I think just like having the words sound cool together in itself like is that, you know,
and even that like is a statement and has like context to it too, you know. Yeah.
No, I agree. And thank you for saying what needed to be said. The Beatles are being just a little bit overhated among some of the Zoomer crowd.
For sure.
You heard it here first, everybody.
Given that this is kind of in the news right now, if like, you know, Jeff Bezos approached you guys and said, we want you on the next Blue Origin flight and to perform some Magdalena Bay songs in space, would you do that?
I feel so scared about going into space as if it were like something that could happen.
You stay up at night thinking about it?
I had a nightmare that we actually had a dream that they were like, you guys could go into space. And I said no. And you're like, I'm going to go. And I was like, I have a bad feeling about
Did I go? I went without you?
I think you went. I was like...
Yeah, I don't know. I would never skydive. I feel it's just like where I don't have that like adrenaline rush, but
at the same time, it would be so cool.
It would be really cool. So that's like a hard maybe.
It's a hard choice.
What if the rocket was powered by the bottled pee of Amazon warehouse workers? You know, then it would be an ethical conundrum.
Yeah, that would probably have to lean. I'd have to lean.
I probably have to
no.
leave with Jeff and the situation. Yeah.
Find a more ethical.
Aside from my personal fear,
find a more ethical style of space travel. Yeah.
But the question is pee environmentally sustainable or not?
I think when that pee is being farmed off the backs of workers who are not allowed to go to the bathroom, I think it's not sustainable. No.
Certainly not. Yeah. So that's a no.
Hard no.
Hard no.
You know, are you guys you know, at all sort of like buyers into, you know, the idea of like, you know, late stage capitalism or sort of like, you know, capitalist apocalypse? Like, you know, considering what I just said, is it only like a matter of years before The business owners are like, force installing colostomy bags into us so that while we're working, we don't have to go to the bathroom. We can just sort of like go in the colostomy bag all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like is all of this sustainable? Like, absolutely not. Like, it will collapse. The question is when.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know, just everything is so mind-boggling now. Like we were just talking about, like even social media is like its own like weird economy where like everyone is performing and like the currency is like interaction, and like we're all being put to work in this like new way for this new economy, and like there's like everything is like, I don't know, it's just wild to consider.
I think like the most in your face thing is like going to the gas station pump and then like having those ads forced on you.
Oh my God, I know. We were having such a stressful day the other day. I'm just trying to quickly get gas and there's like this blaring ad.
So loud also.
Be quiet.
And at some of the gas stations near me, it's advertised in such a way where like when the ads come on or when the voice comes on, they announce it as a radio. It's like, hey, you're listening to blah, blah, blah radio. And it's like, this is not radio,
Christ.
Number one. And then number two, like they actually play 20-second clips of, at least, in my area, they actually play 20-second clips of songs. And it's like, if you want your song to get on blah, blah, blah radio, go to suchandsuch.com. And I'm like, I'm trying to think of like.
That's how I want my music to be heard.
Exactly.
I want them to be heard in 20-minute clips through the gas station
while
speaker.
You're paying like $5 a gallon.
And people are just so annoyed with you, like to be forced to listen to your music.
Honestly, like I feel like there is potential there for some like really well-known artists to like guerrilla promote their music in that way and just like wait for the moment where some hardcore fan is like at the gas station and has to like whip out their phone and like, record into the air to get like, the Playboy Cardi leak onto Twitter. You know what I mean? And then like from there, everybody goes crazy. It's like Playboy Cardi's playing at the gas station.
That sounds like a Lil Nas X move. I think, we'll leave that to him.
Next album called Gasoline.
That's true. He is like, God level in terms of like, marketing, meme marketing and everything is that he's
online he's online today.
He's very online.
He's very online.
I think way more than
in terms of like mainstream artists. I think he's like the most online.
For sure.
It's pretty cool. I wish my brain could go like that fast.
So like right now creatively, are you guys just trying to in promotion for this record just like get through this tour? Are there some extras, B-sides, remixes, more music videos dropping at some point to continue like pushing the new project?
Yeah, I mean, our dream is to do like a full visual for the whole thing, that incorporates the music videos but
also ties like the narratives together in a way that makes sense.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you. I might do it twice since you guys were so nice.
Oh yeah.
But go on.
But yeah, I mean, definitely.
The full
music
visual,
videos, I would love to do more.
We also want to keep like our website as a constantly evolving, I guess
hopefully forever. We love working on it.
So we'll keep doing that, and then definitely other musical things that are still being worked out. But
I mean, it seems. Oh my Jesus Christ! I'm about to sneeze again.
Take your time.
Thank you.
Let her rip.
Thank you. Okay, so it's that buzzing sound is probably my time. No, but
I think that was a truck.
I think that's a truck. We're in like a shipping yard.
All right. Well, anyway, what I was going to ask was, something I'm really admiring about you guys so far is like, again, just the layers to everything that you're doing, and it seems like there's so much thorough effort being put into the live show, the costumes, the music itself, the music videos, the, social media rollouts and everything. Like, you guys are wearing so many hats and, doing a lot of what you do, and the website too, I forgot to mention. And, do you feel like you're stretching yourselves too thin in a way, or like burning yourselves out? Like, at what point do you feel like, as far as like Magdalena Bay goes from time to time, like, do you get your fill and I need a break from this. I need some time off.
We're too much of a control freaks, I think. Like I couldn't even like offload the mixing and mastering for the album. Like I thought about it and I was like, I should probably like have someone do this just for like, my sanity. But I don't know, it just felt so wrong. So I think we like being in the driver's seat for
our music videos
things.
too. I mean, we were like heavily involved with like all 4 that we made over like 3 months.
Yeah, but we were lucky enough to like work with amazing, talented people to help us.
Which makes all the difference, but we're still definitely like, hopefully not annoying to them to work with, because we're very like, want to share our ideas and all of that. So yeah, I think that this like, I don't know. We just have a lot of fun with the like world building. It's like gets us really excited and like fulfills us creatively in a huge way. So I think we won't sort of like get burnt out in any way as long as we.
Well, as long as we like find also like collaborators who can like help us like achieve the things that we visualize.
I was just talking with Remy Wolf yesterday about something similar, and I feel like for you guys too, at this point in at this stage in your career where in a lot of ways you're still figuring out what your sound is, like you want to be in complete control of how that comes together, and it'll only make sense to start passing it off to other people when like not only you fully understand what it is and what it's going to be, but everybody else involved understands, because like they have an idea of what you're doing from past experience and having heard it and having seen it manifested through what you guys have done so far. But again, as of right now, until you know what it is, especially with your first record here, you're not going to know what it is until it's just out.
For sure. Yeah, eventually we'll do who's it? Jeff Koons, who does like just like
he has a factory.
Just has the factory and like everyone actually makes the stuff. We'll just be like, yeah, can you do this?
This type of song.
This type of song.
This type of music video.
Yeah, you guys will have like just like the Kanye Donda sweatshop thing, with producers being overworked and everything. We'll hear about we'll hear about people from you guys in the studio, not being able to pee for like 33 hours because they're just like in Pro Tools for all that time.
Listen, I can only hope. That's
that's where we're headed.
No, we would never.
We're not.
All right. So again, from here, like outside of the live shows, which everybody needs to go to MagdalenaBayMusic.com, look up those tickets, look up those dates and everything. Stream the hell out of the new record. It's out now. Is there anything else that fans need to be looking forward to, or that they got to do right now if they're digging what you guys are doing?
I think just go to our website and like, click around on it and see what you find on there, right?
Is there anything secret on there?
Oh, there's
the whole thing is like hidden pages. So I don't know. We need to update it.
Easter eggs.
For sure.
Yeah, well, it's cool because we were telling our fans to like go check it out again now that the album came out, because there's so many references to songs and lyrics and concepts and this and that, and it's like funny. Yeah, obviously we made it after having heard and like know our album, like we knew our album. So I think it's like fun to recontextualize it at this point if you've seen it before. Yeah.
Okay. Anything, how did that billboard that you guys recently dropped, like come together? Like what was the process with that? Is the billboard getting a lot of positive reactions?
I think so.
Hard to say, we should like check our website traffic.
I know.
And see like if it's gone up. Yeah.
Like, how are analytics doing? I don't know, but we feel good.
Yeah, we did. It was tricky. Like we wanted to keep it vague, but like also not too vague. So
no, I think
finding that balance.
I know we're still a little like I think once we got that big face recognition, we can go a little wilder with the mystery, but we're like, people probably don't know who we are, so we should put our band name up there.
If I find the gas station website, if I overhear the gas station website again where you can get the music promoted on there, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Please
send
do.
it over.
I'll send it right over. I'll send it right over.
Thank you so much.
Well, listen, guys, good luck on the show tonight. Good luck on the show. I'm glad to have distracted from the pacing around and the jitters and the anxiety and everything. Has it been exciting to sort of meet the fans face to face after, all this time in the quarantine and everything?
Oh my God.
That's the best part.
That's the best
by
part.
Far. Yeah.
It feels so not real. It's been 2 years,
Yeah.
And I feel like we had just kind of started really playing shows and meeting fans like right the month before the pandemic happened. Right. So we're still like new to it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Okay. With the delay of, I guess, like gratification there, are people just like going insane at the shows?
We had someone cry, which was like
so sweet.
Really, I don't know. It was it was mind blowing.
I know, and I wish I would have hugged her, but like with COVID, and everyone's telling us to be careful and the mask, and I was like, oh, I should have.
Was it a particular song that moved her, or?
Oh no, this wasn't even during the concert. It was after, like when we were at the merch table.
The merch table. So
yeah.
sweet. Everyone is so nice.
Yeah.
The nice. Our fans are the nicest.
Okay, well, again, good luck tonight, guys, and you know, we're listening to the record, we're enjoying the record, and we appreciate you taking the time, and thank you again for whipping out that hotspot. It cleared everything up nice.
That's
sick. Love to hear it. Yeah, thank you so much for having us and dealing with all that shoppiness.
Oh, no problem. All right. Again, be well. You're the best, and I'll talk to you guys again at some point when, you know, don't forget me when like the next record or single goes platinum. Okay, like, you know, come back
I'll
for
try to
remember.
Remember the little people is what they say.
Yeah. Remember me when, you know, the cult is like 1 million strong and
we'll recruit you for it.
And you guys are like running as co-dictator presidents and in some kind of like weird sci-fi third party.
Sounds great. Yeah, we'll do.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Bye.